and be like, I am reporting my feelings are this, these are my feelings, how do you respond? And INTJ will be like, I respond with adequate, efficient response. And like
that girls asking them, why are you trying to solve my problem? And I answer like, because it's solving problem.
Wherever you will go, way up.
Hi, I'm Sunwoo.
I'm Silas.
Today we are going to talk about MBTI types.
Mubti.
Mubti?
Yeah. I think it is, yeah, particularly in Korea, MBTI is like a big trend.
Yeah.
Like here on Tinder, like when you're making friends here, everybody's like, what's your MBTI type? It's like, you know, it's like, it's very new. It's a new thing, and I think people like having that because, like, with the zodiac, like traditional zodiacs, there's 12, right? Both Chinese and like the monthly zodiacs. Wait, are there 12 zodiac signs?
12.
What about the Western one with like Leo and Taurus? Aren't there like 10? I think there's 10. I don't remember.
We have 12. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So the Chinese one I think has 12, and then the one that's based on months, maybe there's 10?
Maybe.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. But aside from that, there's 16 personalities in MBTI. So I think a lot of people are like, specificity.
What's your MBTI? I'm Gryffindor.
5 points to Slytherin.
Yeah.
Gosh, 5 points to ENFP.
So MBTI is like Myers-Briggs. What is it?
What is it? Myers-Briggs type
Type test?
Type test?
I don't know.
I actually don't remember. It's a Myers-Briggs something.
I forgot it.
Test of something. Myers-Briggs test of something. We should have looked this up probably.
Yeah, sorry.
I actually forgot what it stands for. We studied it in university, but I've forgotten the
Wikipedia help you.
Mubti. Just go Mubti.
Yeah, Mubti. Yeah.
Mubti.
Do you think MBTI is reliable?
Me? I think so. I mean, kind of. Like, I think it's helpful as a point of reference, but I don't think that it can do things like predict the future. I don't think that it's 100% because, you know, for me, like I've had two different results come up frequently, and some of their descriptions of those personalities absolutely make sense, and then some of those descriptions of the personality don't. But I think they can be very helpful, as a point of reference. And there's a book, maybe we can figure out how to like show its picture here, but it's called The Neuroscience of Personality. And in this book they talk about how people with certain patterns in the MBTI actually do have certain brain patterns, like certain brainwave patterns.
Makes sense.
Even you can track people's eye movements related to their patterns. So like we have a friend who has studied these things quite a bit, and she was explaining to me, and I've read some of the research, that people with certain personality types will scan.
Eye rolling, yep.
I kind of scan while I'm looking around, and then people with different personality types will pick one thing that they're repeatedly looking at, right? And so they can actually track the correlation between MBTI type and brain pattern activity. So I don't think it's 100%. I think it's a new science, right? So I think people are figuring it out. What about you? Do you think it's reliable?
These days, MBTI is regarded as kind of zodiac or something like a blood type test. It's very trend here. It used to be. Yeah. But I think it's kind of different from that type of superstitious things. I don't think it's 100% science, but it's kind of based on the data.
Right. It's based on like more analysis, I think.
I'm not insisting it's perfect or it's accurate, but it's based on the data. So it's like if you polled like I like kimchi and I like spaghetti, so we statistically assume that you will order kimchi and spaghetti more than other menu.
Sure.
That's how to MBTI track you.
Right.
So it can be quite accurate because it tracks your pattern, and it just explains your personal patterns. So it's quite accurate for explaining way of your personality, but it doesn't forecast or foresee your future. It's really important.
That's true. I think it shows historically what's been true for people who have that same type, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% to every person, just sort of a general guidepost, you know. And I think it can be helpful. Like, you know, you and I, we've talked about how for you finding your personality type was actually really helpful because it's a very rare personality type. And so then finding, oh, like I have this this personality, and there are other people that are out there that are like me. It's just we're all hiding, like in our dens reading books, so we can't find each other. I think for you that was a helpful point of reference. And for me, it helped me see my blind spots, right? Like things in my personality that I didn't really want to admit were there or problematic. So I think it can actually be really, really helpful because it can give us another analysis of us and like who we are. And what
I also think that MBTI type can be changed.
Oh, definitely.
If you had some kind of big incident or event, so your thinking way or your entity can be changed a little bit. It's not totally changed, but thinking has been changed. And at the moment you take a MBTI test, you can be a little bit different, I think. That's my theory.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we can talk about that a little more later, actually. It's a good point.
So, what's your type?
My type is tall, dark, and handsome. Just kidding. I mean, that's true too. But my MBTI type, so okay, here's my story. Speaking of changing personality types. In a lot of ways, I am an ENFP. I have taken this test many times in university, outside of university, and post-university, I guess that's what it would be called. For the record, I was in university for 7 years, okay? So this is a long period of time.
It's normal here.
Like, well, I mean, for crazy people, Anyhow, I was in university forever, and every time I took this test, I would get ENFP. And in a lot of ways, that made sense. Like, it's easy for me to get along with a lot of different people, pretty sensitive to other people's feelings and emotions. Like, you know, and I learned a lot of those things. I can be enthusiastic. Doesn't mean I always am, right? There is some negativity in the ENFP that we like to ignore, right? So ENFPs are idealistic. We tend to be like, like gung-ho in the beginning and then like quickly run out of steam, right? And that was definitely true for me. So like I actually noticed myself doing that where I'd be like, project. And then I would start the project and I'd be like, whatever. And I would just like abandon it and like throw it out the window. Right? And so I noticed this tendency and I was like, man, I'm never finishing anything. Like, what's the deal with that? Well, it turns out that's a very ENFP thing because one of our skills and attributes is being like really gung-ho, really enthusiastic, like excited about stuff. But that also does have the flip side that it's easy to run out of that steam really quickly, I should say. And so I really spent a lot of time reflecting on what it is that I wanted and why I was working on these projects. And I worked on a lot of like motivational things.
At the same time?
I always have a million projects. That's forever going to be true about me. But when I took the test 2 times, the last 2 times I took the test, I was INFJ. I have definitely become more introverted. It's not that I hate people, right? I just like, I don't get energy from other people. I like to spend more time alone. And like, I don't know where the J came from. I really think it's just because I have discipline now. It's like an ENFP plus discipline. Like that's kind of the INFJ style. Right, so I think that's what has happened. So I'm kind of both.
I think you are now disciplined to finish everything.
So maybe I just leveled up as an ENFP.
Maybe that's my guess. That's my guess.
I don't know. I don't want that to sound like ENFPs are not cool people because we're cool. We can get along with like basically anyone, which is really nice. That is a huge trait. That's a huge attribute as a human.
So,
what's your type?
My type?
Small, blonde, and silly. Just kidding.
Weirdo.
Check.
So my type is INTJ.
진짜.
Yeah. I am like 100% INTJ.
Yeah, it's true.
Very sneaky and weird, like introverted, discipline
like
type.
That's your description.
Yep. And usually INTJ people like themselves as a weird, like academic and very introverted. Like hate people.
Hate people, love books.
Yeah.
I feel like the INTJ is a lot of like hating people from a distance, but then studying them quietly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I don't fully understand what's going on here. I'm gonna go read a book about it. Like that's what the INTJ feels like, and that's actually a really powerful thing. I mean, like I know you've had your frustration socially, but like I think that has helped you academically. What do you think?
I mean, I don't hate people, but I hate people. Yeah.
Don't hate the individual, just hate the collective.
Yeah. Sometimes I hate individuals, but yeah. I'm like hate 80% of people group, but I like the people which is very minor and very like logic. I'm more like I'm investing more time for the people who I like than the other people.
Yeah, I think
very
that's
concentrated.
True. Efficiency.
Yeah, efficiency reason. So that's reason why I think INTJ people is regarded as very loyal. We just invest more resources to the people I like.
Yeah.
Interact.
I think so. I mean, I can say from our relationship, but that's definitely true. What I've seen, because like, I would like to think that you like me or something. And he definitely spends a lot more time with me than I think any other human person.
Yeah, these days.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. Here. Stuck. Yeah.
Anyhow, so yeah, I think that's true. And it, like, I don't know, I think the word that I would associate with INTJ is efficient. There's no wasting of energy, there's very little wasting of time. Like, I mean, you do waste time sometimes, but like, so do we all, right? We all need to waste FP quality.
If people understand INTJ is the fundamental thinking, it's really easy to read their mind. But usually people don't understand about our thinking, like efficiency reason or logical thinking process. So that's why people are very struggling to read our mind.
I think so, because I've noticed that it's very unlikely for people to have T, right? That T in their descriptions. Like most people are F. Most people are not T. So I think a lot of people are really sensitive to emotion, or at least want to be, and it can be really unfamiliar and a little uncomfortable to try and understand a mind that is not so prone to sentimentality. Like, don't get me wrong, INTJ people, sorry, I don't want to talk about you like you're not here. INTJ people are sensitive, but it's not their primary function, right? So like, he has feelings, obviously he's a human person. They're just sort of like not the first thing that he's going to go to in terms of making a decision, in responding to something, in like the interactions that we have. It's very like efficiency oriented and problem solving oriented.
We
I
have
think that's hard.
Feelings, but we think about that feelings.
Right.
So we analyze it.
And try to consider.
Like when I really pissed off, I just think like, I'm so pissed off. What causes this anger? How can I solve this problem? So I just spot the problem and I just concentrate on the spot. So it's very common cliche of couple fighting that girls asking them, why are you trying to solve my problem? And I answer like, because it's solving problem that causes the ultimate peace.
The ultimate piss.
Yeah, ultimate piss,
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The ultimate piss. Yeah, you're right though. I do think that could cause problems in relationships for sure. Like, it hasn't really been a problem for us because I think both of us try really hard to just respect the other person's like needs and wishes. And like, I know that you you want to help me, right? So like here's a tip, like for anybody who's watching this who's an ENFP INTJ relationship, massive tip for the ENFP person: leave them alone. If they like, if you're mad, because I get mad about stuff, we're all entitled to be angry. I try not to tell it all to him because he'll be like, just don't. Like, that's his response. And that's fine. I don't have to tell everything to him. So sometimes if I'm like, he will listen to me, right? But it's not what he wants to be doing. So if there's another outlet, another friend that you can talk to, I would recommend going to talk to somebody else. Maybe an INFP. Those tend to be really good listeners, right? So if you're mad or angry or pissed off or like want to complain about something, it's better to go to the INTJ and be like, I am reporting my feelings. My feelings are this. These are my feelings. How do you respond? And INTJ will be like, I respond with adequate, efficient response. And like that's way better for them. Yeah. And also I think is a good tool for an ENFP because we tend to kind of be like all over the place, right? So we can vent to someone else, but then come to them with the report, right? Because they just want the report card to help find a solution. Yeah. They don't really care about that thinking process, right? And you're nice, so he will listen to me, but like he doesn't want to. So just hot tip for those of you out there.
I've never understood that like people who has like F personality are having more sympathy, because when I had that type of fight, like, why you're trying to solve my problem, they don't know my feeling. I just want to really help their situation by solving the problem.
I see. But they can't necessarily, it might be hard actually to see the correlation there.
They can't understand my feeling because I really want to help themselves, and it's ultimate solution. You know? Right. If they just feel angry and feel entitled and feel insecure, that doesn't help. And it'll outbreak again if I just do like painkilling things. So that's my feeling. But nobody actually understood about that feeling except you.
Yeah. It's like,
so when I try to give her like solution, she understands that I'm trying to give her a solution.
Right.
If it just doesn't work.
And I will say too, in our relationship, and I don't know if this is an INTJ thing overall or if this is just you specifically, but I've noticed that if you offer me a solution, I don't necessarily have to accept it. Right, as long as I give a reason for like why it wouldn't work for me, or like I try it and it doesn't work, like at least in our relationship, like you've been very open to that. So like if I try to apply a solution that you've given me and it doesn't work, you're not going to get mad at me, right? And I think that helps build trust between us two, because you trust me to like listen to your advice, and then like I trust you to try and give me good solutions and try to help me. And like neither one of us are perfect. Yeah. So sometimes we think of solutions that don't work, and that's okay. You know, we just try something else.
No one is perfect.
Yeah.
But one warning, we need reason.
Yeah,
it can be rejected, but we need reason. Like, even though it's not logically perfect, like I don't feel like doing that. Can be reason.
Yeah.
Now,
I have used that before. I'm just like, I just don't feel like it. It's just like it doesn't work for me. And then you're just like, okay. Well,
that can be a reason, like immediately. But if you do permanently, if that solution is right, it make INTJ pissed off.
It feels dismissive, I think, at that point. Yeah, so I think the INTJ is very solution oriented and efficient, and I think that's the efficiency is why they're trying to solve problems all the time. This is just like, let's solve the problem so we don't have to deal with it anymore in the future. So for them, they're trying to like just nip it in the bud, like go to the root of the problem and just like chop it. Where for other people, and I'm speaking mostly about myself, we just want to complain, right? We're just like, complain. And it doesn't actually solve the problem, right? Yeah. So like I actually appreciate very deeply that if there's an issue, that you'll kind of just be like, I'll go, okay, yeah, probably you're right. You know. And vice versa, he listens. He listens to me. Yeah, we both are.
I got a lot of advices from her. You know, you're very open-minded, INTJ. You look sometimes very arrogant, but actually you're super open-minded.
He's open to suggestions a lot. Because like I think one of the great qualities about an INTJ is efficiency, and one of the like not so great qualities about an INTJ is that social things can be quite difficult. And so a lot of what we end up talking about is he helps me solve efficiency problems, and I help him solve like personal, like dealing with other human people issues. So like we both have our strengths, and I think they complement each other really well, actually.
That's why there are so many memes of ENFP and INTJ couple. It's a very famous meme of MBTI test.
MBTI.
Yeah.
LOL.
So have you ever met INTJ people in general life?
Not that I knew at the time, because I think I didn't know anything about the MBTI other than the ENFP, just because they give you like the sheet of paper. They're like, here's what you are. And, you know, people tend to be selfish, so I only read my own description. But thinking back, there are some people in my life that I think are INTJs. There's a professor that I had. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's okay, you can have some. It's really good. I don't blame him. So I had a professor. Feels good, right? Yeah. Super interesting, super smart person. Really not great at having conversations, like face to face, one on one. And now when I look back on that, I really think that professor is an INTJ. I think the reason that we got along was just like, I don't know, for some reason I just understood him. And like, so I actually like, on the chance that he's watching this, just for the record, you were my best professor ever. So like, I mean all of this with love.
What was your score?
My score, I always scored over 100 on the tests.
Oh.
I was a really bad student in high school. ENFP cannot focus, right? But like in university, I was like, time to crack down, bitch. Like, let's go. And nice. So I did, yeah. So like, I really liked those classes, and I think it also was what I was interested in, right? So I spent more energy and more effort on that. But yeah, I definitely think he was an INTJ, and he fit those stereotypes because he was one of those professors that would like ask a really, really effing difficult question, and it would like be on a thing on the board, and he would just go, I'll wait. And he would stand there and wait, and he would try to intimidate us into giving an answer. And it worked on a lot of students. He'd be like, page 17. And like, I think that's a lot of what the INTJ does, is they're like, did you do your work? Do you understand? Efficiency. Answer the question.
Yep.
But less emotionally. That's actually a really bad interaction. You need to perform your study tasks. That's a better.
You don't usually get angry.
Yeah, very rarely.
You just say things, but they just get intimidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I will say, you want to know the one thing that'll piss off an INTJ? Computers.
Yeah. I pissed off a lot because of the technology. And
I also hate computers. It's okay. But yeah, I think I have met some INTJ stereotypes. Have you ever met any ENTJ ENFP?